Well, good morning, guys. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. It is December 11th. Month and year is just slipping away. So let's get started on this stuff, and we will go from there. Hold on, let me make sure I have all this set right. I do, I do, I do, I do. Okay. First thing I want to show you. Yesterday we hit exhaustion. I pointed this out. We just pushed. See how I drew that white line up there? Look, we're just pushing the highs of the 8th and the 5th. We hit up there. We put a little excess at the high. I pointed that out late in the afternoon. I did not short it. Wish I had. Did not. No, I don't wish I had. Like it's just not in my process to short the last 30 minutes of the day, right? But I think it's worth going over what you saw there. And two things that we saw up there. I'm probably going to distribute this chart to those who want it. You can ask for it. It is hard. It is not an easy read, okay? It's a 1 minute chart, and it tells me basically the same thing that the 24 ticks show me, but it shows me where the volume is getting exhausted, okay? So I want to show you that. Yesterday, there's two things that occurred that made me want to go, hey, look at that. First of all, see when we pushed up into the high and we hung out up there? Look at the divergence that came in off that high. And I'm talking about right here. So here's where we hit the high. Let me erase the lines. Okay. Two things. Here's where we hit the high. Right there. That is the high of the day at 1421. You will also see when we were up here that once we got up into this consolidation, as we hit the afternoon, this is the last high volume bar right there. So put a line underneath it. Doesn't look like anything special, but that was the highest volume bar up on top. Okay. And then this became the highest volume bar in that consolidation. So one of two things had to happen. You either had to get above it, or if you get underneath, this guy becomes trapped. So put a line underneath him. Okay. So see over here where you got the line underneath. So this is where I started taking going, hey, look, there is a big drop off here in volume, right? From here, and it just kept falling all the way till here, right? And if you look, that big volume push, so first thing you notice is the divergence. Then see these two pushes? Push one, they have stars on them because their volume is way outsized compared to the bars prior to them. And two, okay? See those? This is 1448 and 1454. Those are two big volume pushes, right? At the end of the day, look what they got for their volume push. Look, this guy pushed, bye-bye. This guy pushed, bye-bye, right? Those, you would think the biggest volume pushes are going to push up and over and clear this guy, right? That's what you would look for the start of the run, okay? So once we're underneath this guy, right, that is 25, 840, 75. Okay, this chart takes a lot of work to read and stay mentally focused. 25, 840, 75 lands you right here. Roughly. We'll just do that. Okay. 25, 840. Sorry. I ADD'd that. I reversed the numbers. Close enough for hand grenades. Okay. And what I pointed out late in the day, if you were around, was I said, hey, look at those two purple bars. I go, I am not saying that is the top. I'm not calling the top. But when you see a purple bar like that, at the high, you usually have the end of the run. So look, those two bars appear on top. We get underneath the 4075. We backside test it. And now you will see everything underneath there just starts to fall away. Now, did I know it was going to fall 400 points? No, or obviously, right? I like money. I would have taken that short. I didn't. But that was the net result of that. That's the first thing I wanted to show. So for anyone who wants it, after the close, message me and I will get it out to you between sometime over the weekend after I have it all set up. It's a confusing chart to read until you're used to it. It is not easy. Okay, I'm telling you right now, It is not an easy chart to read. It takes a lot of mental energy to work it and then convert it over the 24 or the 40. But if you can do it, it works very nicely. Okay, next thing that's important for today. We are sweeping ranges. See that? Way down, and then we're sweeping way up. Okay? If you have challenges with keeping yourself under emotional control when the market's going a lot higher or a lot lower than you think, right? You should be very patient today. Wait till after 10:30 because this thing is going to fly all over the place in big wide ranges is highly likely. Okay, doesn't matter why. Okay, next. I already did a video last night on VWAP. I wanted to do it on ES. And I did the video and then it didn't post. So I'm going to do it now. Here's my here's my ES with should have everything stripped out of there. Let's see. Erase lines. Yes. There we go. Okay. Very simple. I know yesterday was Fed day. So I'm going to go to Tuesday first. Okay. And this is the requirement. If the 100 period moving average, the yellow line is VWAP, the blue is the 100 period moving average. If the blue is over VWAP, I want to take my longs after 2 bars down. And it has to be an algo on the turn and not stuffed. That's the requirement. Algo on the turn in the direction of minimum a green or white bar. Minimum. Okay. So now I'm going to show you the trades. We start off, and I'm not going to do 8:30. I'm going to go to 9 o'clock. Okay. So if you will look at 9 o'clock, VWAP, if just slightly, is all the way through here. VWAP is still over. Is still over the 100. Okay. So this becomes trade 1. The VWAP is still over the under 100. Excuse me. The 100 is still over VWAP. Trade 2. Trade 3. 100 over VWAP. Trade 4. Stop. Or unless you just scaled all out, right? 100 under VWAP. Right here. No, underneath. So if we're running the algo, which I will get this algoed, right, so that the trader assist takes it, the computer is going to take that bar. The 100 is clearly underneath VWAP. Short. Short. Oh wait, no, that's after the day. That's the end of your day. That's it. That was your last trade, right there. Now let's go to yesterday. Yes, I know it was Fed day. Okay, I'm just showing you the results. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so we start off the day. Here's the open. No levels on it. Here's 9 o'clock. 100 is over. 100 is over VWAP. First long. 6-point stop. $300 risk, about the same, actually a little bit less than NQ. Trade 1, obviously paid. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. We're still over here. Stop, -6. Stop. Oh no, excuse me, I measured it. This survives the 6-point stop. I apologize. 47 3/4 means 40. Hold on, let me do. I'm sorry, I'm just 47. 48 -6 is 42, and you take away another tick. So you can see that it survived. Next trade right here. That's at 1 o'clock. Next trade, it's 2 bars down. This is coming out of a zipper. I'm not sure about the zippers yet, but if we do that, you got 2 bars up from that. Stop. Long. Long. I'm not sure if that was the last trade. Oh, long, long. Understand that was during fit. All this is during fit, right? Long, long, long. I think that was the end of it. Maybe one more. Long, long. And that's the end of the day. Okay. So obviously, that's pretty damn good, right? So it doesn't always work out that way, but I went back a long way on ES just to make sure that it worked well. Okay. So just in case you're unsure, right? I'll go to Monday, which was a very different day. Okay. Here we are at 9 a.m. This is 9 a.m. I assure you we're underneath. Okay. Trade one. If you take the zipper, that's short. If not, no. If you shorted in the hole, that's a stop. Okay, here's what I wanted to point out. So stop, right? Stop. This is after hours. Sorry, no one would have taken any of those. You had a final stop if you try to push that trade to the downside, and there were no other trades in here, right? So two things about it. When the market gets moving fast, we won't always catch it on the turn, and you'll have to make a decision whether you're willing to take them down or not. But for those with the least amount of experience, right? For those with the least amount of experience, right? It does not matter, right? I want to make this clear. It does not matter. And I missed this one right here at 11 o'clock. Short. Okay. This was one bar up, so it doesn't count. You need 2 bars up minimum. Okay. So this is 1 bar up, so it doesn't count unless you're certain you want to short that for some reason, right? I'm going to always apply this to the people with the least amount of experience or the least tolerance for loss, right? You ended up with 2 trades here, right? And that is good. If you look pre-market, what I refer to as pre-market, the first 30 minutes, right? You had 1 trade there, and it was right before 9 o'clock. I'm not sure anyone would have taken that in the room. I would not have taken that. I don't like to get stopped right at that time. But that would be your 3rd trade on ES, and most days work out like that. So I will be looking at ES, and if you looked overnight, right? If you look, here's where we cross underneath, right? Now do your trades because we had good range overnight. I can use it as an example, right? Minimum 2 bars up, short, short, short. So your first 3 trades in a series are usually going to be your best trades, just FYI, and your best chance for extension. I'm just going to go all the way through the series because VWAP, the overnight, was all the way up here, okay? This is your next entry short. You obviously had to cover that or you're going to get stopped, right? And then when we're all the way up here, you don't get your entry, you get a stuffed bar. And I'm unsure about the stuffed bars. Sometimes they work great, sometimes they don't. And what I'm going to do is put it into an algo and figure out whether or not I want it or not. And then most of y'all have enough experience in here to make that decision on your own, right? So I'm not worried about it from that point of view. I really think that the concentration on this should be on the first no more than 4 trades after that 100 crosses on both NQ and ES. And I will go over this weekend and do an in-depth on ES to make sure I have enough data going back that's not that yesterday wasn't a freak accident that we had such a high win rate, right? Which obviously I don't want to produce a chart that's going to produce only high win rates, right? So what I'm going to do now is get rid of this chart. Actually, I'll leave this chart. Yeah, I don't need all these charts running. So there's my ES with my levels on them, right? This is from chart 19. Let me make sure I have the right chart connected. Chart 19, I do. And that's what we look like overnight once you plug in the various levels. What is that red level there? Why do I have a red level there? Chart 19. I don't think I have a red level on chart 19. I don't. Let's see if it was locked for some reason. There we go. So that's what it looks like, and I'm not going to put a zone in this big white area. So you know coming in on the day, right? VWAP is over the 100. Therefore, even on the open, right, I would look for the short side of the trade, right? Now, if you want to wait till it crosses the first time, I get it, no problem. It's going to be the same situation on NQ. And if you look overnight on where those levels were, this is yesterday's low right here. This was taken out. We got underneath 68.20 and a quarter, and we came into 68.17. Those are two prior days lows. We came underneath, we trapped, and you can see that trap there. I guarantee if you go to Adam, I'm just going to say either we trapped at 68.30 for 68.76, or he's going to say we traded underneath 68.20, and then we went back up. But what you'll see here is if you look at his pattern that he posts out, right? He goes support, and he has one or two deals. Dun, 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 long through, right? And I think he uses about a 10-point stop, or it goes dun, 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 dun. And on this chart, what we got was it traded all the way through. I'm not going to call this a rejection. I would call this a rejection right here, right? So it came down, came back up, came back down this way, right? So that's your rejection. And when it came back through, that's your long. I think your stop would probably go right here. And my guess is his entry would be about right there, which would give you about a 10-point stop, right? So my guess is from the turn, you measure 10, that's your entry, and that becomes your stop, and then you caught the rip to the upside. Just a guess. I don't know, Adam. I just don't know. That's my guess. That's what the trap looked like. If you look at it from an algo perspective, right? I already showed that the shorts worked, right? And you can see all the way through here that we were underneath. So this begs an important question, both in NQ and ES. What if you get the long from underneath? Well, everyone in the room already knows how to get the long from underneath. It goes supernova, right? And then take your signals. It worked, right? This is just, the VWAP is just one method, okay? Obviously, when we're 100 miles away from VWAP, right, it's a regression to the mean trade. I am not eliminating that trade. I'm not saying don't take that trade. What I am saying is when the 100 passes through the VWAP for the first time, you have a very good chance of making a X1 or X2, meaning one standard deviation or two standard deviations away from VWAP. The first time that 100 crosses over, and then the same thing when it crosses back through and underneath. You can make a 1 or 2x standard deviations away from it. When you're more than everyone, if you've been around for a while, you know when we're more than 2 standard deviations away, we have a good chance of shooting back to VWAP, right? My suggestion is whichever side of that trade you pick, you stay consistent with that idea, right? I'm going to say that again. You stay consistent with that idea. Why? Because you'll become an expert in that type of price action, and you'll be able to make a determination as to whether or not you want to trade it and how you'll want to trade it. Okay? That's my 2 cents about that. I don't have much else to say. I don't think there's any econ this morning. U.S. wholesale inventories at 9 o'clock. White House press meeting with Levitt at 12 o'clock. If you're going to wonder why the thing's moving wacky at 12 o'clock, there you go. Broadcom earnings at 15 minutes after the close, and that's all I got. Okay, so set your alarms for 12 p.m. for Levitt. He has moved the market in the recent past. Okay. Hey Siri, set an alarm for 11:45 a.m. White House press secretary speaks.
I set your White House.
Okay, got that down. I don't have anything else to say. I'm going to wait. I'm going to trade the VWAP trade today. That is what I'm going to do. Okay, that is what I'm looking to do, and I'll trade it to support and resistance areas. This is Globex mid. Globex low is down. Why isn't that marking off? Oh, there it is. Globex low. Okay, Globex high is all the way up here. It's a massive overnight range. I think it's 400 points, right? 500 points. It's 500 points, massive overnight range. Okay, be very specific. The last thing I want to say about today, and I don't think I'm missing anything, the last thing I want to say, and why is this on? The last thing I want to say is follow your entry process and have it down to a dime. The people who are making the fewest errors on entry and exit, right, are making the most money in the room, hands down. Whatever your style, okay, the people who are following their process to a dime are the ones that are having the most success, okay? The ones who are constantly altering how they enter their trade. And I'm talking about the very final piece. What algo are you going to enter on? How are you going to enter it, etc., etc.? They are the ones having the hardest time, right? They're the ones having the hardest time. So that is my 2 cents. I'm waiting patiently today. I'm going to give them the first 30 minutes so that they can figure out, right, what they want to do, whoever they are, okay? Because the range is simply monstrous, okay? The range is simply monstrous. Okay, the market's open now, obviously. There's yesterday's first hour high low, right? And we are obviously trading inside that first hour high low. And there's the most recent Globex high, and then we just traded underneath the most recent Globex swings, right? And I'm going to let them do what they want because I have no idea what the F the market wants to do. By the way, I want to leave this with one last piece. If you look at your hourly, on both ES and NQ, you will see a massive consolidation area now that we've been in since December 3rd. It's all the same area. And I would say you have to get under 6,800 to roll lower. And you're obviously going to have to break above 69.10 to hold it, to break higher. We're inching new highs. We're technically making higher lows through that consolidation, but the sweeps are something vicious. Okay? And that becomes more of a challenge to read. So when people go, I knew it was going to go lower, I knew it was going to go higher. Okay, sure, but it's really not going anywhere. Like if you were long on this day, right? November 26th, Thanksgiving, right? You are not bearish, nor are you bullish. Well, if anything, you're bullish, right? But the algos aren't looking, there's no long-term algo, right? That's looking at that and going, oh my God, look at yesterday, right? Nobody is, right? You're going to have to clear that November 26th to make anybody remotely nervous, right? All that's going on here is we have a megaphone pattern and it's starting to get wider and wider. It got very narrow, right? A megaphone pattern looks like this. Right, so it can just expand, although in this particular case we're doing like this, right, with a slight uptrend. Megaphone goes both ways. This is just zooming in quite a wide range, right? Here, I'll get rid of this so it's not messing up our chart. Please. Okay. And this is and Q on the hourly. Here's Thanksgiving Day, and we are making slightly higher highs, and that range is just expanding, but we've gone nowhere. Okay, so we're just sweeping the areas, and if you're wondering why I don't have a zone there, anywhere in there, just look at it. Why would I want to have a zone in there? Because it's just smoking through that area in both directions, right? So, so I'm not bullish or bearish or on team A or team B. I'm just follow the algos and get on one side of the VWAP or other because that's what everyone's doing, right? And that's my 2 cents. So right, right now, as we've opened up here, the 100 period moving average is underneath VWAP. Okay, orange, white, 3 bars up, both have extended, right? And as long as we stay on that side, understanding that I can take a loss, right? I will stay with that theme and concept. I'm going to make the 40 tick a little smaller and make ES because ES has been working very, very well. And ES, same story. Here's the open. I have one white bar down and it wasn't worth much. It went roughly 65 to 62, right? So you only got a 0.5 or for your 6 points. It's the open, and I'm not trading anything until after 9:03 a.m. I'll let them get through what they got to get through. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Does everyone understand what their trade plan is? Is there any confusion? Now's the time to clear it up because I'll take the time to explain it. Know your entry. The guys that are having the hardest time are trying to manage 4 or 5 different methods. They have not decided what they're going to enter on during the day. They're not clear whether they want to be in support or not in support. They're not executing the same way repeatedly, so it becomes very hard to correct that. The guys who are doing the best are just doing the same thing time after time, understanding that sometimes they're just going to take stops along the way, right? I'm not looking long here until or unless I see something obvious come into play, right? I'm going to have to see something obvious come into play in order for me to go, oh, I'm going to trade back to X, or we've taken out. And what I would do is we've taken out support. I'm looking for supernova. We have a good chance of rolling up. And then you have to make a decision. Do you continue with we're under VWAP, I'll wait? Or do you go with, yeah, I'll trade the contra back to X point, right? For our purposes here today, I will stick with, I am trading in the direction of the 100 and the VWAP, okay? For better or for worse, maybe for worse. That is a valid entry in that position. More than 3 bars up, blue bar down. Obviously that came right off of VWAP and the 100's underneath. If you don't like that methodology, just trade the other methodology. Nothing's wrong with it. It's not like those are getting killed, right? I just see what I see in that methodology is long extensions, right? Long extensions. And that's what I want. Thank you, sir. Correct. Sideways chop. Well, someone hit the sell button. ES clearly stronger than NQ. So far. Again, if you look, you're not picking up stops on these bars because your 100 is underneath your VWAP and the exhaustion you would expect to happen earlier. New low on session, printing right now on NQ. Okay, again, same thing here. That was your entry, right? That's rolling 25,610 to 25,520. Okay, no, I'm not short, but I'm not surprised by it either. I'm very, very certain that the bigger fallaways happen on whichever side that 100 period moving average is lining up on. Into the 100 and 200 on ES, on both the 12 and the 6 tick. Give you a picture. This is yesterday's low, or 25,528. This was the pink is European first hour point of control. The green is the Asia. Why don't I have this marked off right? This is the Asia first hour point of control. I'm missing it. Sorry. Right there. I'll mark it green. And then we'll mark off the first hour. Okay, so we're right into the point of control from Europe. Okay, that's London's first hour POC. And then this is Globex low. And then these are prior day's lows that have been untested during RTH. Okay, untested. So obviously down to 25,400, get back up, trap, and push back in for balance, which would line up with the greater theme. And obviously the one I'd want to take out are these two right here, that double bottom, which is at 25,420-ish, right? Take out that double bottom, trap back in, slam them to the other side because, yeah, that'd be nice if it happened. Again, this does not surprise me at all, right? And if you look on ES, right, 100's underneath. This is your entry per process, even though it's before 9 o'clock. You have a 6-point stop. And then you have to figure out how to manage the risk. So your 6-point stop is 69, which brings up 75.50, right? And 73.75 was your retrace, and you've been rewarded by at this point getting a 69.50 to 49 on ES, which is pretty kick-ass, right? So that's my 2 cents. No, I am not trying to scoop the bottom. I'm not even thinking about it. I am watching my 1 minute chart, which is revealing nothing to me so far. Other than I've got sellers, which is no shock. Again, we know that whole area can sweep pretty well, and that's why there's no zones in that area, right? Just whatever the market wants to mark off using VWAP and the moving averages. Because that whole thing can get traded through, and I want to stress both directions. Both directions. So don't be shocked if you see it back at 25,590 all of a sudden because someone said boo, right? And we have 8 minutes until whatever that econ is. And thank you for the executive summary. Again, I am unsure about the algo up stuffed. I just prefer it in the direction of for now. New low and Q. ES is chasing after it. Into a support zone. No, I am not scooping up anything down here because I do not want to get stopped. Again, supernova is your first clue that we might reverse. Diamonds up, right? Nice and patient. White bar down. That should get some kind of extension. It's right in front of news, but that's valid entry. Again, down into that area, it does act as support, right? 1 bar. You get 2 bars out of it. Bar 2. Bar 3. Bar 4. Bar 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, not bar 5. Bar 4. That was your next entry in terms of just measuring sequence. And I do not know if this answers, can we trade this in the first hour or not? I'll need to collect data on it. In the first 30 minutes, I'll need to collect data. Down 387 on NQ, 50 on ES. ES is significantly lagging NQ in terms of percentage down. That trade from this morning on ES is now giving you a roll from 68.69 to 68.38. 30 points on ES is pretty freaking awesome. Econ in 2 minutes. And we are clearly open drive lower, trend down, in range overnight, below yesterday's low, however. And there's Globex low sitting at 25,383. And again, 9:03 a.m. is when I'm looking to trade. And if you go, well, the move already happened and we're down 200 and we swept, that's a trading decision you have to make. I'm just going to stay with the process. There's the econ. Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. Maybe they released it early. We've jumped around already on the dome. We did the little cha-cha-cha. I believe I can't have more than that. Remember, going in for 2 to 3 bars up minimum, right? For your trades to fire. Don't guess. You'll be a sorry camper if you do. You'll be surprised where they can squeeze shorts even on a hard down day. And everyone's going to think about it now. Like, do we test Globex low or not? We do not know. Too many shorts got in there. See? They are trying to get the rally horses going. Do they get the rally horses going? They do. Told you get too many shorts. Everyone aimed for that 25,838, and they said, "Oh, we're stuck." Don't guess. Do not guess. You'll regret it. See, it just goes faster than and harder when they trap those guys. We can just trade that whole range. So people are just going to say, "Oh, we're trapped now." They're just taking it the other way in the illiquidity. This should not shock anybody. Just should not. It's quite normal. Everyone pressed down there at the low, and now they're like, oh no, and there's no resistance in this, and there's no signal to short either, by the way. They're just ripping it. It doesn't have to go back down. They can sweep the whole thing all the way back up to Globex high. We're just in a very massive balance area. Back to the 200. And there you have it. I've got 0 short signals so far after 9:03. Should not be shocking anybody. I will take my next signal whenever it prints. Pure stupidity. Pure stupidity. To VWAP. I don't know what's driving it either. I will not short without a signal. There's nothing that says this thing can't just keep going. Nothing. That's a liquidity sweep I have not seen in a long time. Wow. Anyone have anything? Because that's a pretty impressive V. Got it. Thank you. And we're testing that 25.28, which is obviously yesterday's low, I think, RTH. Wow. Dun 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 dun. No short signals all the way up. There's a rip, rip, rip. I am short. Right there. That orange bar. Stop was 24 points. It's roughly 53.50. So that's 73.77.50. Just adjust size, or you can just do a 1 bar stop if you want, and that's sufficient too. But I said I would take my trades as they went, and I'm taking my trades as they went. And if I get caught in a rip, I'll take stops. And if you don't want to short, that's totally fine. I get it. And odds are that I'll have a stop the first time, and that's fine because that's how it usually goes. But we'll see. I'm following process, so I'll point it out. And then the apex trap into there would be trade 2. This is the stop right here. I think it's necessary. Roughly 77.50, but that's close enough for hand grenades, right? And if it stops, I'll just take my next trade in process. And if you ask me if I like it, no, I don't. But that's what the process says. You got enough for 15 points, I think, now, almost. Scale at 15, 35. That, by the way, the new algo would have taken. 100 is under VWAP, and that is a valid entry. So you got from here 1, 2, 3 bars. Your entry was, this is the best you could have done so far, was 55.75. Sorry, I'm a little off on the stop. I don't know why I said 53. 55.75 and to 34. So 20 is the best you could have done so far. I don't know why maybe I got slipped on the 53. I'm not sure. So it's actually, in order for the stop to be correct, you need to adjust it 55, 65, 75, 79. Or you can just stop to break even once you get 20. Either way you want to do it, done bottom 8 or minus 10, however you want to do it. The balance will get stopped here if it hits. And I'll take my next trade in succession. It'll be roughly 60. It's 60.50. And so it would be 84.50 would be the stop if that prints. And if you don't want to stop, just don't touch the trade or lower the size or however you want it. Or you can say, oh, I'm not shorting this. Short 60. Why is it printing there? Apex filled me at 60.50, which is not shock for Rhythmic, but the bar didn't print, so I don't know how that's even possible. But that's fine. It says I got filled at 60.50. I'll put the stop in. 60.50, 84. That's going to suck if that bar didn't actually print. It looks like I'm going to take a stop on that, and that totally blows. The bar never printed. Thank you, Mr. Apex and Rhythmic. That's all right. I'll get you back on the flip side. That blows. I'm going to get stopped on that. And stopped. That's bullshit. That's all right. It never frickin' traded. And we're just on a ripper through the whole range. Man, this is as much fun as a frickin' just total bullshit. I hate these V's. And the reason we're doing this is because there's no auction going on in here, right? We can just sweep the whole range. Webex mid. One short signal so far. And that's obviously a ripper. So I'll be prepared to go long if that 100 crosses through, but I don't like it. Just pure crazy. White bar down. I'm short. I just sent it at '06. And so normal stop. So it's actually an '04 roughly entry. So it's '04, 24. It's '04, 24, 28. And we are on a ripper, and with my luck, it'll be the first day where they just rip all the stops, but that is the entry. I don't understand why we're doing this. I don't see any news or anything else out there. But hey, whatever. They went down on nothing too. Stops in place. First trade worked. Looks like second trade's going to get stopped. Because we are on a march. That sucks. I just don't believe everyone was a seller and then everyone was a buyer. That just sounds like bullshit to me. Stop coming up. By some miracle, not stopped. Manages, you have to manage it. Just insanity as far as I'm concerned. It's all right. Market can do whatever it wants, but that's stupid. I'm sorry. Just the whips are unreal. Unreal. There's no negotiation of price at all. Just straight down, straight up. And it was the same way yesterday. So it looks like the, oh, I better adjust balance. Sorry, guys. I don't know what to say. I didn't expect us to rip straight through the ranges both ways. But that's exactly what we're doing with no negotiation. It's about to stop. I'm almost certain it will. Stopped. Just fuck, that sucks. That whole range. And I got tweezer topped out of that. Point of control, 3 points of control right up there at the top of 2650. Again, that's open drive lower, followed by delayed open drive higher. All in range and no negotiation on price at all. We're just not interested. We could rip down 100 now. We could go all the way back to 25, 518 just as easily. And probably will. That one stop really sucked right there. Mostly because it didn't print. Just Rhythmic decided it did. So it was obviously in my Apex accounts because that's the only thing I run on those. But yeah. I'll tell you my next trade in sequence. I'm sizing this correctly to take my trades in sequence. When that 100 crosses through, I will flip to the long side. If you don't like that, right? Not many days we go open. Look at the range, right? They're hard to trade. There's not many days. There's not many days when we open, right? We sweep, right? We sweep from 25,602 to 25,390, 200 points, dead stop, and sweep the whole other direction, right? That is not your usual everyday flavor market, right? I would not sweat it. I would not sweat it. I'm not, other than I'm frustrated because I thought we'd have some good trading, but obviously I'm delusional on that. And the easiest way to avoid this noise, right, if you don't like the range, start trading when London closes. Massive ranges are tough. Does anyone have any criticism of how I took trades this morning? Yeah, I know. I'm cool with it, Bill. I'm all right. I actually traded pretty well overnight. So I'm not worried about it, but that sucks. White bar down for the release. I probably just should have flattened it when I saw that the bar didn't print, but that's okay. I didn't, and that happens. Everything else has worked out okay. That 100 crosses, shorts will be off the board for me until it uncrosses. It has crossed on ES actually. So ES shorts are off the board for me. There was one. Now, I don't know how people without an edge trade this. I mean, my gosh. Can you imagine thinking it's short and just trying to figure out where you're going to short it, where you're going to go long it. $100 is at VWAP. So now you have to make a call. When it's on, you either wait till it's clearly below, clearly above, or you just continue on and go, I'm not going to do anything until I get it clarified. And not shocking because the ranges are just freaking enormous. And I did not think 100%. It's all that literally matters is that you're on process. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I'd agree what Ed said. I was hyper focused on the current conditions. 100% agree with that. 100 now over. And I said I would take the longs. Of course, I probably should have gone and practiced 400-point ranges, but I did say I would take the longs when they're over. So ES is in long condition, right? So if you took that with 3 bars down, that's a stop. I didn't take it again. I don't think anyone in the room considered taking that. But the algo, if I programmed that, the algo would have taken that, right? So that would be minus 6 points on ES. No question about it. If it's hit 6 points, 80, 74 has. Okay. And I do not have that ES optimized, obviously. So just thumb in the wind measuring it, right? Obviously, what I would suggest here, the easiest suggestion for me to make is to wait till after 10:30 and to see that they're negotiating it in a reasonable range that we can handle, right? The market can do whatever it wants, right? But man, 200-point swings, almost 300-point swings both ways in vertical lines is very, very difficult on us mentally to get adjusted to. Okay. Very difficult to get adjusted to. So now everyone's got to figure out what? Look where we're at. Okay. We swept the whole range down to the bottom of the range, right? I guess I did say that 25,430 would be where we'd want to get long. I hope that's not the low of the day, but I'll go look. And then, right, we've come all the way back. So what does everyone have to decide? Are we going to go take out 25,730, right, which is the open point of control for Asian session? Do we come back down and sweep to the downside? I don't know. And neither does anyone else, or we wouldn't have this, right? This would not exist, right, if everyone was sure what they wanted to do. But no one is sure what they want to do. So what do you do in that situation? You just patiently wait till you see some kind of rhythm, or you do nothing, right? Or you do nothing. Nothing is a viable option. This is long until that gets back underneath. Same thing with ES. Even though I do not, by any measure of anything, do I like the price action in any way, shape, or form. But I'll wait patiently. They'll give me my little hit somewhere and I'll take it. or I will get paid. The biggest thing is just see what they give you. Be relaxed about it, right? And you can say, like going to the beach, you can go, wow, the water's too rough for me to go in. I'll just wait it out here on the beach. Valid, valid strategy. Generally, what my bet was, and I was talking to Bill about this last night, when this crosses, if you bought QQQ calls about a point out of the money to 50 cents, you'd get paid about 70% of the time. Same thing on ES. When this crosses like this, so I don't know about today because all the conditions I looked in, I didn't go, what if we have 200 point sweeping ranges? So I'm not buying any calls. I'm not doing anything other than taking my signals as they come along. And I've reduced size because we're in wacko land, right? Until I see some kind of, oh, we're at resistance, or oh, we're at support, and let me attack. Or I have a clear target above or a clear target below. And right now I don't have either the above unless I assume that we're going back to yesterday's high, which we may. But I've seen nothing on the 1 minute to the short side. Have you? This is what the reversal looked like on that 1 minute chart. Right there. Biggest volume push down. It was on econ. I got over it. See ya. But it didn't have what I normally look for. And just to give you an idea of where the retraces are, here to here, we're coming into the 382 retrace. The algo would have taken that long, the new algo that I'm working on. That is assumed to be a long 24 point stop. So again, the range is too freaking big, and we're going to get sloppy PA all the way through this. Okay? We just are. I did not take that long. I just do not like the way the market's trading, and I have the right to reserve to wait things out. Once I see which way we're going, I'll make some decisions. Oh, first hour point of control. That's a big one. Here on ES. And here on NQ. We're under it. Right at the high of the rotation. Just wow. Under the 100, we were under the 200, coming up into VWAP, etc., etc., etc. And underneath the first hour point of control, over the first hour point of control on ES. Oh, and the algo would have taken this and this. Although technically you would have only been in one trade. Right there. I'm pretty sure I'd survive the 6 points, but we'll see. Uh, 75.50 brings up 69.50. You would have survived that. So there you go. This would not have survived, obviously. Your biggest volume bar up, or your last strongest volume bar up on this, I would identify as this guy right over here. Oh, where'd the chart go? Which makes just underneath that point of control. Technically, that's your current resistance going up on NQ is 25,578. The short would not be taken there on ES, the white bar down. It'd be nice if we could find some kind of rhythm. But stay on process, right? Whatever you do, however you're going to do it, stay on process. And if you're going to enter and you're going to take a stop on a signal. Gives you the best shot at getting to a good P&L, right? On NQ, the 100's coming through the 200. It's now below, so it would take an algo down. Is anyone confused about what I'm doing or how I'm looking at this? Or anyone frustrated? Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Nice job, Ed. Great trading. ES to the first hour point of control, back to the 100, back towards VWAP. And yeah. Again, we're in that same area. Look, unauctioned, unauctioned. Okay. Keep that in mind. That is, without a doubt, harder in every way conceivable. Down into VWAP. I'm looking for shorts on NQ and technically longs on ES. Again, I think you're in no man's land. Back to the 50-60 retrace. Press down into VWAP. Man, I wish these guys would just stop smoking crack and actually auction the market properly, but they're not going to, and that's okay. Bye-bye. That was a nice short, dude. Past the 62 retrace. Usually your first signal right when you get past the 62 retrace will lift. Usually. Not always. It's not in the cards for me on NQ. Congratulations, guys. You survived a market that has murdered the majority of inexperienced retail traders. It's a big deal. Okay? Not to get wiped in this is a big, big freaking deal. White bar stuffed on ES, nothing on NQ. And I've got nothing to do there because I'm not taking that green bar long with the moving averages below VWAP. Just not going to do it. Looking for a short on NQ and ES. Technically it's long, but I got no long signal, so I'll just wait. And you cannot get complacent and go, oh, they're not going to roll it all the way back up. You cannot get complacent on that, guys. Just take your trades and set them in order because there is nothing moving this market. Thin air. Okay? It's just a bunch of money rolling one way and a bunch of money rolling the other. So you must follow process or you will get annihilated on a day like today. Don't guess. Don't go, oh, that should have been an algo. Just don't do it because it'll hurt you in this environment very, 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 very badly. okay, versus giving back some money or taking a stop like I did on the way up, but on process, or at least attempting on process. I got one bad fill, right? But I am not going, oh, that has to roll down. That is Europe's first hour point of control. That's what we're working against. And I will take my algo. If it prints, it'll be 82.50. I'm putting it just underneath there to make sure it actually gets the bar printed. So I'm doing it at 82. 82, you put in 20 plus 4, puts you at 06. And you don't guess for this exact reason. Okay? So if the bar prints, that's fine. Pulled order. The range is bigger than you can mentally calculate is the problem here. Okay? That's going to be a white bar down. I will take that at 88 to make sure the thing prints. Okay? That'll be a 12 stop for me. And if it doesn't print, I'll just move my trade right away. I mean, I'll flatten it. That's what I mean. I won't leave the order open, obviously. If the algo goes away, I can see it getting possibly printing. But if the algo goes, I go. Order pulled. And that's what I mean when you look and you go, oh, there's no way they're going to run it all the way back. Yep. Because there's no defense in this area. Either way, there's no defense. No one's trying to defend it. No one wants to defend it. No one cares about it. See? It is very difficult trading because you cannot set your mentality on, oh, it's short or oh, it's long. It's just nothing. Sam Altman is talking. Trump, the market just hit a new high. He said that at 9:44. And they sold it. That's pretty funny. It'll be 24 will be the entry on this. So do the math, all right? If that prints, 24 brings up 24.50 brings up 44.50, 49.50. If it prints. I'm short 49.50. I got filled at 23.75, by the way. Do I like the stop? No. Back up we go. max was 2 bars to 1350. So about 10 points so far. Two minutes till 10 o'clock. So no idea what these guys will do here. Okay. Pure stupidity. That was the 10 o'clock algos that fire, not ours, just random algos that fire. Right? That's all that was. Someone is speaking. Just heads up. That's the only way we do that shit. Someone's talking. It may be Trump. Nice trade, Dan. Again, this was so here's your shorts in this sequence. We are underneath, right? Short. I don't know that you could have gotten it. It was pretty whack. That one you could have gotten, the short, right? This is for the long. This is for the long still, believe it or not. And as I've stated, I hate the way we're trading. Hey, Sean, I sent you a vid, that new algo that we're working on. It fired incorrectly, as far as I can tell, it shorted on a white bar up. It shorted on a white bar up. So that is not a long for me. If you'd like to take it, be my guest. It's not a long. We had a volume surge here at 25,506. Above it, my guess is buyers grab control. Underneath it, sellers grab control. It's the biggest volume. So I don't know what happened there on that algo. If someone said something or printed something right there, but that was that sweep right there. But you can see just the most volume went off since 9:04 a.m. in that bar underneath. I don't know what that was all about. Doesn't really matter. It's where the volume is. That white bar up on ES is valid technically. Again, I'm just waiting. I've got the market just drifting sideways here. I don't know what it wants to do. And I am a little frustrated at this point. All right. So I'm just going to sit patiently and wait till it gives me my setup. And if you'll remember the last couple of 2 days ago when we were trading sideways into London, it traded sideways for 30 minutes, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, just like this. We go from sellers in complete control, buyers in complete control to no one interested. And is it any wonder? Because how can you be interested in this crap? Light bar uplifted. I've got nothing on NQ. We'll see. And we're chopping around the first hour point of control. On ES, and I got nothing on NQ. And I'm telling you, this when we start doing this, very hard to trade. So I have ES longs and NQ shorts, and so the markets don't match yet again. And we're bouncing right on. That is Europe's first hour point of control at 25,494.50. We're just whatever London wants to do, man, this just is no fun. Do not guess. Do not get frustrated. And if you're already too flustered for any of that, right, just don't trade it. While London figures out what in the heck they want to do. Like I said, we're trapped between that 25,506 volume bar. This is the bottom of it, and the top of it is 25,555. Look, we're just grinding through that high volume bar. It's this bar. We're just grind. They've gotten underneath it once. We'll see if they get underneath it twice. I guess what I'm communicating is when you see price action like this, right? When you see price action like this, don't sit there and try to negotiate it. You got to trade it while it's giving you rotations. This is a slow grind, especially in ES, right? That's a 6-tick bar. It should be moving pretty good. And it's basically bouncing up and down 7 points. Okay? That is very difficult to negotiate unless you know exactly where the market's going. And you can just take heat and go, this is a retrace against VWAP. I'm going long. I'll stop at 10 points under VWAP. Target 68.78. That's the only way I know to negotiate that challenge, right? Is to do exactly that. Excuse me a second. I'm obviously experimenting with ES, so there you go. I'm fine if anyone wants to see that. I have no problem with it. Wait, it still shows me long. Why? What's that coming off of? That's a ghost. Okay, there, it finally caught up. Okay. That is not a real order. Sorry, guys. I don't know what that's coming off of. Trade. Because I show no positions. The entry was right, the exit was wrong. I just don't know where these are coming from. Backside testing that high volume bar, but that bar goes all the way through. It's 50 points. And I'm hoping we open up a little bit after 11 o'clock, but we may not. $100, $200, and 6 minutes until London close. Shorts got packed in there and they got squeezoled. Back up to yesterday's, I think, low. Green bar stuff, not on my menu. White bar down on ES, we're not short. Someone must have said something again because the market jumped. Man, the market's nervous. Come on. I mean, to be this nervous for this. If you're wondering why we're not getting orderly algo flow, it's because we're not getting orderly volume flow either. See how this is just going through in chunks, right? Well, what this is, when you get this up on top and then they immediately reverse it, this is shorts getting squeezed out, right? This is a long going, oh shit, I got to get out. And they squeeze them up. No one, no one has an edge in this. Look, we're forming a pennant here. See that? No one has an edge in this. Okay, unless your time frame is larger. Okay, it is very, very hard to negotiate an edge in this when we're sweeping these massive ranges. Think how hard risk control is, even for a swing trader, right? If you go long, right? If you went short in the morning, right? Here's 8:30. Here's 8:30 roughly, right? There's your high print at 8:30. They came all the way up to the top. Now imagine you think, oh, I'm king, right? So what if you go, I'm going to add to my position? You add to the position here, smoked, right? Then you go, okay, well, I'm long, right? Obviously, they took this little kink and we're going higher. We're going to come out and take out the swing. Smoked, right? And then you go again, right? Okay, now I'm long. Well, now what are you going to do? Because you're all the way back down to the low of this, and these ranges are massive, right? Most of us, right? Institutions don't care about this for the most part, right? But we do. How do you handle that, right? Well, they have the same problem we have, right? Which is they're getting swept out, right? If you're a large trader with a large series of stops, you're totally bummed that this thing came all the way back on you. What are you going to do? Unless you move down your stop. But if you move down your stop, right, how did you stay in the trade when it does roll all the way down? Like, answer those questions for yourself, and then you'll see, like when you see the BS that someone says on, like Mark Minarvi, or however you say his name, I was enunciate it, right? You know, he's been short for 4 weeks now, the S&P 500, and he's ridden them all the way up and down. But he says my stop is 10% on this short, right? If it goes 10%, if the market goes another 10% against me, I'm out. I'm a swing trader. It's 10% against me on the S&P, right? He's been up. Now imagine his position, so it gives you a good idea, right? He's been short since over Thanksgiving. He's been short since over here. That's when he put on his short position, right? He's been down on it. He's been up on it. He's been down on it. He hasn't been up on it very much, right? But he's not coming out of the trade. But can you imagine being short going wham, 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 wham? You're like, I got it this time. Bam, all the way back out, right? So why is he doing that? Because he got his signal to short and he's staying short, right? That's what he is doing. That is his trade. That is a long on the algo, on ES. I didn't get to it fast enough. And that is London close. Amen. Damn. The algo would have taken that. I did not. And with the way I learned to trade, like I'd be like, oh, we're coming up against a level, right? Let me short this, right? And that's wrong, right? So see that 76.50? That would be a short entry for me, right? Again, I risk 24 points on the trade. I have to adjust. If it closes down at 76.50, the algo would take that, right? If it closes down at 76.50. I'm not going to guess that algo is going to print. I'm not going to guess anything. I'm just going to leave the trade there at 76.50 and see if it fills, okay, as a sell stop. It's gone. Come over here, hit flatten. I don't do the stuff trade. So if that's a stuff trade, I don't get a trade, right? I need the bar in the direction of. Although we're collecting pretty convincing evidence that the stuff trade works pretty damn nicely. And see, I would have guessed, oh, that bar is my, my entry, right? Well, it's not. And that next bar didn't print an algo, so no entry, right? I would have just guessed 25,794 is going to reject, right? But I need the algo to reject it for me. Okay, we are now convincingly underneath. Here's what it did. Here's your volume bar. Here's the underneath. Here's the backside test. There's your fall away, and it came down where? To yesterday's first hour, I think, point of control at 25,450. I don't know why I have this marked off anymore, but I know it's an important level, right? So that's where that 1 minute really helps you. No one's messaged me that they want it, so I get it, no problem. Again, green bar up on ES is still long. Blue bar up on NQ is not long for me. And as long as we're underneath that VWAP, it won't be. And the other rule is if you haven't made your money by 11 o'clock, it usually doesn't get a whole lot better in the afternoon. So just FYI, that orange bar would be long on the algo. So again, I hate where we're chopping, but that does not matter. So it would already be in the trade, so it wouldn't take the second trade per se, right? You've gotten 3 bars up. So you've gone 65 to 69, right? With 6 points worth of risk on there. You can now move your stop to the low of the bar, which would be 65 to 60, but you're still long. It wouldn't take that trade. Now, if you took it or re-added to it, you've got to adjust for 6 points from 68, 67, which would be 61. It's actually 68, so 62, excuse me. So you could drag your stop up on the other trade to 62 is the other way you can manage that away. Coming up for a possible tweezers top there. Bar 2. All the U.S. bond auctions are going off right now, by the way. ES is only down 22 points, NQ down 300, right? So something doesn't match there. They do not match at all. Do not guess if the algo is going to print. If you wanted to short that and you think an algo will be on it, pitch your order at 88.50, 88 and a quarter to make sure you don't have stupidity from if you're trading Apex. That bar will be either green or white down or up. Into the 100, into the 200, and we are circulating right in the middle of the range. And we get 3 green bars up. You're now from your original entry at 65, have 71, which gives you a 1-to-1 RR. Again, now your stop should be right underneath this bar, about 62. Back up towards, we're back into that high volume 1 minute bar on NQ. Again, there's a reason why, and I've seen several people trying to do this. They see the color of the bar and they guess. Don't guess that it's going to close down. It will smoke you and send you on tilt. For every one time it works, there's 2 times it doesn't. You now have 73. I sure wish I got filled on that. Yes, but I didn't. See, like I'll get up here and go, well, it's surely going to fail here, right? Wait for the algo. That's your answer every time. See? And what happens? You just get into a string where whatever's going on in the market just starts ripping. And yeah, it sucks. If you want to short, and you've got to be short, do yourself a favor. At least make sure you get a down bar. And if it's not an algo, flat it out. Right? That's what I would do. See, like that won't be an algo, at least not yet. Now it will be at 1250, so like 12. And what's your stop? 12 plus 24, 30, 22, 32, 36. Why this is under this. I do not guess if the bar is going to form because it costs me too much heartache and too much anxiety and too much stress. I'll just let them work it out. Yes has now gone 66 to roughly 74. Now testing yesterday's low at 25,528. And ES actually isn't doing all that bad. See, and I'd go, oh, there's no way they're going to grab it over it. I'd short it. Bam, stopped. Okay. So now it's got to be 1850, right? Is your minimum. Right? And you need an algo down off of that. See all those bars you would have guessed at? The person in the room I'm talking to knows who they are, right? Oh, guess, reversal. Nope. Guess, reversal. Nope. Guess, reversal. Nope. 3 stops that you didn't need, right? Is all that turns into. Again, a stuff for me is not on my menu. Okay. Not yet. I'm watching and I'm monitoring closely. I see that they're working, right? So I'm running it through in my head. Also on ES. Up into VWAP. And this is why you don't guess at those bars, guys. So now the best you can do is a 2450, right? Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Now it's a 3050. I don't know if someone's speaking. We've sure gone into this grind. Maybe they're going to reverse it all the way up, right? Back above VWAP, above the 100, above the 200. My observation is the short signals still work like on those days. Maybe today's a different day, right? And at 11, I got to jump off because I have an appointment to talk to Sean. Wow. Sure wish I got that long on ES. That's all right. I wouldn't have held it this long anyways. 54.50. So I'm going to put it a little bit before to make sure I don't get accidentally filled, thanks to Rhythmic. Again, none of this is surprising me. We're just not defending anything in here at all. So I don't feel surprised. I'm not shocked. I don't care. We're actually now above that 25, 55, 50. We're above the highest volume of the day. And that should act like that as a support. Okay. So I don't know if someone's speaking. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You know, I used to care. I don't care. It's just too frustrating to mess with them. I'm getting all kinds of 4-week auction stuff coming across, but that's about it. Again, when you see an impulse move like that, you don't have to short it, right? You just go, okay, I'm not shorting it, right? You don't have to take the first turn in a straight up move, right? So we'll see what it does. We're above the highest volume bar and we have not replaced it. That 25.50 all the way to 25.506 should now technically act as support. ES is not doing very poorly. Just isn't. We're getting some news about deletions to PPI. I just saw it. I don't know where it went. It was there, then it disappeared, of course. ES is down 10 points from yesterday's close. Okay, that is not a wipeout. Don't be surprised if they flip it positive, because there had to be when I looked at that last night, I was like, oh, they are crunching this, right? There had to be a lot of shorts. I know there was a time when I would have come in and seen that, and I would have said, I am shorting any bounce. And the bounce guys that are shorting it are getting, if they do not have structure like we have, they are getting hurt. Okay, so I'm just going to keep reiterating the same thing. All you got to do about today is not get hurt. You're fine to be frustrated. I'm frustrated too. But don't get hurt, right? Don't get hurt. Guys, was the commentary helpful this morning or confusing? Especially with implementing the VWAP process? Thank you, Peter. Man, look at that. They just freaking smoked them. Smoked them. So we will not permit you. Thank you, sir. Sure feels like they want to rally it. Of course, that's totally deceiving. They felt like they wanted to tank it this morning, so the feelings have nothing to do with it. Wow. we're going to sweep this range 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 5th sweep of over 200 points since yesterday's close. White bar, white square, that is it. The algo would have taken that short. Zero question about that. The way I have it set up. 100 VWAP. Short. Does that making sense? I could use some feedback, guys. Is what I'm explaining is as I've been taking the trades, good, bad, or indifferent. Have they been making sense based on how I explained it this morning, Ed, Jason, anybody? It's just been a difficult morning with the ranges. But normally this works pretty much like this, and on ES pretty much like this, except for that little chop that we got at 10:30. And if it's confusing, I need to know what is confusing about it so I can fix it. We are testing back into this high volume bar, and you would think this guy, usually when they lose them and then they regain them, you would think he would defend, right? It's this guy right over here. He will usually defend, but it's such a wide bar, right? And the point of control is right in the middle there at 25, 530 roughly. Oh, okay, no problem, Jason. I'll explain to you later when we chat today. Coming into that 25, 530. Great, thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Again, we don't guess. Even if you're going to go, you know what? Forget Simon. I don't care if everything's underneath. I'm taking that 25, 530 long. I would need an algo out of there to take that trade long. I'm not just going to take it. For that very reason right there. Do not guess. Do not guess. Do not guess. Follow your process over and over. It's all I have to advise. Do not guess. You don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. You follow your process. That was the short. So far, that's worth a 73 to 99, right? And they're just clearing the tables with that, aren't they? Unreal. Such frustrating mechanical, I don't give a shit PA. All in, all out. Total suctitude. Come on. You can't tell when it's worth 10 points and when it's worth 100 points. Look at that. Now it's just in free fall. It's like so frustrating. Nothing matters. It's just like whoever has the biggest set of capital, like all the bids pulled, all the asks pulled, we're just gonna drive it one way. It's a very frustrating way to have to make a living trading. December US PPI to be released January 30th. That's what it said on the PPI. Don't ask me why that caused a sell storm, but it did. Straight down for 125 points and counting. For no reason. There's no news, there's no nothing. We're just gonna sweep these ranges. Someone has to be speaking. I'm sorry. I don't know who it is, but it's frustrating the crap out of me, guys, and I apologize. Just what the fuck? Anyone have anything? Because this is weird. It's literally, I'm sorry, but middle of the day, no news, and we flush it like that. It's like, damn, it can't be that fucked up. I'm officially agitated and I can't pull the trigger on another trade. I apologize. I just can't. I'm likely to go on tilt. And I got the short, and I'm on tilt. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna sign off because obviously my pool has left the building. That would be a long on ES, by the way. That orange circle right there. No matter how you cut it up, the algo would take that long. Okay, so I'm just letting you know. It's a 69.75 against a 63.75. And I cannot take it because I will get pissed if I get stopped now. I just lost my cool. That's all there is to it. I apologize. One bar. Two bars. Three bars. Working on 4 bars. Oh, and that's New York lunch. So there you go. Anyways, that's that. Now I feel like I traded horribly. So anyways, I'll be back after lunch, guys. Thank y'all. Hey Siri, call Bill Morgan. Hey Siri, call Bill Morgan. Oh, okay, before you can jump on with this. Before, I'm sorry, can you say that again? I didn't know the other phone
I
call.
need 10 minutes.
Okay, that's fine.
I need 10 minutes
Yeah, that's fine.
before I can get there.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
fucking mad. Holy, that's wrong.